girlfriend. They go out dressed away. And she comes right to the cool side of town. But she lives in my land. 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 Oh, she lives in my land. Oh, she lives in my land. Remember my fiance? She lives in my land. She lives in my land. Oh, make me want you.
Hey everybody, good day, good day, good day. How y'all doing? Hope everybody's having a good day. Good start to your day. It's 8 a.m. Hold on, let me see here. Yeah, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, USA, and 2 p.m. Central European Time. It's V Bennett out here, and I just want to wish everybody some positivity. It's an important topic. I've been saying I'm going to start leading up into and speaking about more regularly, right? And because, a lot of times we get entertainment news, which is social news. It's about what's going on in the society too, entertainment, and also let's keep in mind entertainment news can be criminal news too. It can be foul news. It can have all the caveats of the entire society. It could also have some political aspects to it. But if you want to get deep, but today I want to talk about another thing, another important topic, and I want people to think about this when they get engaged with others regarding this upcoming election. you know um this upcoming election, you got two parties basically, and you got two candidates. One candidate is Trump, uh if you can call him that, because he almost don't even make the standard. You know what I'm saying? But in the USA, he's allowed to be a candidate. How? First of all, nobody should be feeling like the world is against Trump, uh, or Trump's goals. The world, the or the the hidden hand is against Trump when they allowing his ass to run for president in the first place. You know, a lot of people don't think he should be allowed, but in any case, you have Trump and you got Biden, and there's a lot of people that Biden has he's got a history. It's a mixed bag. You know what I'm saying? Like most or many American politicians. First of all, to be an American politician means you have to deal with the standards. You have to accept that there are standards that already exist, and if you want to get started somewhere, you got to figure out what standards you can represent and what are the ones you want to change, right? So that's what I want to talk about now. I don't think myself the United States can be a better country. I mean, I'm American myself. I'm a United States citizen, but I'm not just a United States citizen. I mean, my forefathers, they're from that country. You see, and I'm not talking about my forefathers, 600 years ago, 700 years ago. No, no, no. I'm talking about 500, you know what I'm saying? 400, that kind of thing, 300, that's still forefathers, right? Foremothers, that's still ancestors, right? And so I'm that kind of American. And so I just want to put that out there. So when, people have when you're listening, you could add that lens to it. I'm not just talking as a person with the paper that says I'm American, right? Hey, Andre, how you doing? And Ralph, what's up, Ralph? Yeah, yeah. And so what I want to talk about politically, and what I want other people to engage others on politically, is not so much the talking points of the parties, right? Um, Although it's important to understand the talking points and to listen to them and hear them as what they are already, but the talking points can also be uh a bottle that you get caught encapsulated in. It could be your own capsule. You could get stuck in that narrative, right, in those talking points, and sometimes it's not good to stick with the talking points. I would even say read between the lines of these talking points sometimes, because that's even more important, because a lot of times the talking points are maybe not that obvious what they mean, right? But when folks engage, I want folks to come up with not just talking points. Yeah, they will be talking points. They are good talking points, but they're also realities, real things, not just talk that can be put out there for people to have to answer because they really exist in reality. You see what I'm saying? And that is universal health care, for one. Um, why do EU citizens have it and why don't American citizens have it? Um, Paid education. Why is it that most EU citizens have paid education? Actually, I want to look in and see how many, but the part of the EU I'm in has had it for a generation. You see what I mean? You know how long a generation is? Paid education. I mean, it would be really useful as an American citizen to know that somebody else gets paid to learn a profession, and then gets to carry on that profession as a career and get paid more. It would be useful information to know that other folks live like that, right? It would be useful to know what you don't have that somebody else has that you might want, right? Especially in the richest, most powerful nation that has ever existed in humanity. Essentially, that's what you're dealing with when you say you're an American citizen. Um, that's really what you're dealing with. And I'm telling you, that's exactly how other people are looking at Americans. Other people outside of Americans are looking at America and saying, America has all that money, has all that power. But damn, look at what they treat their own citizens like. What good is all that money and power if the citizens don't get none of it, don't benefit from it? What is the good in it? What's the good? And that, I think, is where both parties, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, even more the Republican Party, um, that's my opinion now, get a little disingenuous, because, in my mind, once you find out that something exists and is real and worthy and can be a reality, the next best thing to do is talk about it openly. And you don't hear politicians talking about paid education. You know, um, you don't hear them talking about that. You don't even hear them saying, hey, other countries have paid education. Let's talk about it. You don't even hear them say that, really. I mean, maybe some of them do, but if you're not inside listening to in the chamber every day, in the chambers of the Congress or the Senate, you might not hear it. That talk doesn't make it to TV land where most people get to join in. You see what I'm saying? Um, and so that's some of the things I want to get people to talk about. Like, and don't think like something like paid education is just like, don't think of it as having like some in the short term, right? Think of how an educated society can fix itself, can solve its own problems. Think about what it's like to live in a society where everybody is educated. That's not the United States of America. And the United States of America is the most powerful nation on earth. And like I said before, maybe that's ever existed in terms of might, in terms of money, wealth. But how does the US spend its money and wealth? when it comes to its own citizens. You know, my brother Donnie today, he just reminded me of this. He asked me a good question. Will you ever come back to the USA? And you know, I love my country and I love my upbringing, more specifically, my upbringing. I love where I'm from. I'm from DC. I didn't grow up in another part of the country. So I can't speak for all America, right? And I won't even try to, because some of you Americans also can be sick, you know. So I don't have to be like every American from every town. I'm from the town I'm from, which is the capital, right? And I got relatives in different towns. So I can only speak about my family experience and my own upbringing, you know what I'm saying? My own city. I love that experience. But when you travel and you live in other places and see things, you begin to notice a few things that you can't run away from. And the fact that other countries pay people to go to school, I mean, all people, I'm talking about technical school, university, all of it, all of it. When you think about the effects that that has on that society, they're tremendous. Number one, you may not think education has any connection to crime, but it really does. It really does. It's actually, you know, your view of education and how you provide an educational system to a society. It really speaks to your views about crime, because they affect each other. If you don't have a society where there's enough people that feel like they can make a living with an education that they have access to. See, it's not good enough to say to hold a cherry in front of somebody's or a carrot in front of the donkey's face and say, "Here you go, little donkey. Education is over here in my hand, and you got to come this way to get it." Why do Americans have to chase something that's good for everybody? Something that's good. You being educated is good for your neighbor. You being educated is good for the bus driver. You being educated is good for the real estate, the home seller. You being educated is good for it's good for every single person you will encounter in your day. And yet, the United States wants people to pay. And people pay, and because everyone can't get access to it, they pay double. You know how they pay double? They pay double on the crime end of it. What they have to pay for people that don't have access to decent jobs, that are not don't have access to education. That's how the US pays. That's where that's a choice on how you spend your money. That's a rational choice. It's a rational choice. Or you could pay everybody to go to school, university, or technical school, and you can have a society where people aren't chasing the basics. I mean, chasing. Like, can you imagine being having to do everything with haste because you have to chase? Every decision has to be a hasty one. Make this decision now, you might lose your opportunity. That's the US right now for a lot of people. For a lot of people, basically all people. Um, what would society be like if you could just say, you know what? I like my job. My job is cool. You know, I got my benefits. I have my pension. I got my union representation. If I lose my job, I got a couple years on unemployment at the very worst. That if I have to do that, I could do that. Um, you know, I'll get subsidies because now if I'm unemployed, I may not make as much as when I was employed. I got my health care is still intact. If I want to take another education, I can do that too. I mean, think about how you plan, how that changes. It won't be a rush decision. It won't be a situation of the have and the have nots. You know, make the right choice, you get a prize. Make the wrong one, you get nothing. It won't be the society like that, you see. And regarding this political talk about this election coming up, it's my duty to talk about that. It's my duty to say that. That's a very rational thing to say. Why does my kid in the most powerful country on earth have to worry about any type of bill for for education? Any type of bill, any type. When education is good for everybody, it's good for the person next to the person that got it. You see what I mean? It changes everything. It changes everything, but how would you get that education for everybody? You just change the system and say, hey, we don't view education this way anymore as a capitalistic thing, as a thing where if you got the money, you can, and if you don't got the money, you can't. Or that, you might have to move out of your home, lose your home to get this education, or, versus another person that don't ever have to make a decision like that in another country that's like, why do I have to lose my home to get an education? Why can't you have both? You worked for both. You're willing to work for both. Why can't you have both? How is, I mean, I don't know. Let me, I don't know if I'm making sense to y'all, right? Let me know if that makes sense to you. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I actually live in a country right now where that is the case, where that's the actual case. The case is that people getting paid to go to school. Period. Is there inflation? Yeah, there's some inflation, but USA from what I hear when I talk to Americans, USA got a whole lot of inflation. Is the inflation worse in the places where they make you pay for education than they are in the places that pay you to be educated? Which one do you think that is? You think there's a difference there? Because I'd be willing to bet that the inflation is about the same or close or similar, while people are getting paid to go to school, technical school, university, versus the same inflation in the USA where people ain't getting paid to school. People are going into debt for an education that benefits the entire society. People that want to be educated in the US, they're not seen as patriots. They're seen as liabilities. That's essentially it. A liability, debt. And that's what you hear them arguing about, in Congress. People are arguing about it. I guess the Democrats would have a head up on that. If we were to compare the two parties right now, but is the Democratic Party so bold to just say free, not free, paid education? I'm talking about you don't pay for the class and you get paid a salary for showing up. That's what I mean by paid. Do you think the Democratic Party would be so bold as to introduce that? And even if they wanted to, do you think Americans are open-minded enough to even not reject that idea? I mean, what do you think the argument against paid education would sound like? I don't even think they have an argument against it, which is why nobody's talking about it at all, because there's no argument against it. You would just have to do it. It just makes sense. Yeah, Grand Rising, Ralph, Andrea, Jade. What's up, bro? What's up, Jade? Yeah, Donnie, he hit me up to on the community timeline and asked me a very good question, and I want to thank him for that, because that's why I'm speaking about this now. Essentially, will you ever come back to the United States? I told Donnie, I said, I didn't talk about education, but it was in the back of my mind when I was typing to him, but I was saying I might not even go back to the US. I'm talking about to retire there, right? But of course, I'll be back in the US, it's just to visit and kick it, right? Visit family or friends and things like this, or maybe something else. Who knows what the future brings, right? But in terms of retirement, would I ever go back to the USA? I mean, man, I'm thinking about South America, to be honest with you, because um, I want to be around in a situation that I can somewhat recognize, and also where my dollar is going to go somewhere, right? In the US, is the dollar going somewhere in the US? Are people happy with what they got from their dollar right now? Or are they unhappy? Um, or even just dissatisfied is a better word, because you can be happy a little bit and getting along fine, but still be a little dissatisfied. You know what I'm saying? Are people satisfied in the US? Let me read some of these the chat messages. Hell no, that would never happen in America. It brings in too much money. Education, you know, yeah, I don't think so, Ralph, because I think crime, uh, you know, crime is costing the average American citizen a whole lot, and I would be thinking education, free education, paid education is one of the most rapid ways to probably reduce the crime. So it's more like shifting the money, just putting some emphasis, right now it's like it seemed like to me, it's just my opinion though, Ralph. um to me it seems like the United States wastes a lot of money. That's what it seemed like to me. Richest country in the world, most powerful country that's ever existed, but wastes a whole lot too. Like, and that's not good enough for 2024. It's the same thing with gasoline and these kind of things. You can't waste gasoline. You shouldn't be wasting anything. We should be beyond that as a society. We should be clever, and also on the cutting edge of the things we're doing and the experiences we're having, and in terms of our know-how and what we implement to the public, right? Roads, all of this shit. We need to be smart about this stuff. Look, man, speaking of DC, man, last time I was in DC, it was great. I love DC, by the way, because it got a lot of trees, got a lot of parks, um, it got go-go music, um, you know, yeah, but one thing DC don't have is good public transportation. I mean, it's the capital, but the capital's lagging. And I'm not talking about the employees or the staff. On that level, you get quality, you get some polite staff and employees, very polite. Americans are very polite, especially in DC, man. That's what I love about DC, because as long as you're polite, people are generally going to be polite back to you, right? But in regarding the public transport, uh, it was a weird experience, because here in Copenhagen, this has been the norm forever. When you get on the bus, there's two spaces minimum for people with baby carriages. So they don't have to break down their baby carriage while getting on the bus. You just park it in this area, right? And and then you go take a seat, and your baby carriage is in one space, and you're in the seat next to it or across from it, whatever, right? And in the US, man, this was crazy. They had I saw a woman, she had her kid, she had some things in the back of the carriage, and to get on the bus, she had to take her kid out the carriage and unpack the carriage to fold it up just to get on the bus. That's public transportation. That's, you see what I mean by wasting, not being on the edge, not being, that's not even public service. And I'm not talking about the employees. I'm talking about the brains of the operation. You know, like that is something everybody, that's something they would have to implement immediately if people thought it was okay, right? But it kind of show you what kind of place you're really dealing with. It exposes the flaws in that because public transportation is considered smart today. You're saving your lungs, you're saving the air that you're breathing because you will have to breathe whatever pollution is coming out of whatever car coming down the street or bus or whatever. If this benzene operated, right? Um, the roads are crowded. If you want to get somewhere in DC, man, my God, driving in the wrong time of day, woo! But what's not helping is the public transport ain't helping. Uh, I don't even know if they have bus lanes. Here they got bus lanes and bike lanes. DC just trying to get a bike lane. And when you see the bike lane is just a piece of paint in the road. Here's the lane. Man, how you going to get people to change that way with some paint when folks, the way they drive, you know what I'm saying? They're not used to looking out for bicycles or anything like that. I mean, you really have to wonder if that's enough, a piece of paint. Here, the bike lane is not a piece of paint in the road. It's a separate driving space. It has a curb on its own, a separate curb on its own, the bike lane. It's true. It has been there for, I don't know. I should look it up right now. But why don't the capital of the US have that? And I'm not just bumming on the capital of the USA. I think every state in the country should have paid education. At the very least. Why are Americans working harder, longer hours for less? Why can that be? How can that be? That makes no sense whatsoever. But it's the richest, most powerful country on earth, and probably that's ever existed. But yet the people are working harder and for less. How's that possible, y'all? This is how people look at America. Now, me, when I migrated out of the US, right, I was still really, really, kind of rough around the edges, man. Like American, like wanting things fast, believing I can have whatever I want if I work for it. Those are great ideals. Wanting things fast, that's not great. But believing I can have something if I put my mind to it, that's great. So I never lost that. But one of the things that changed is this idea that I have to chase stuff, chasing basic things. I have to say that when people are busy having to chase basic things, healthcare, education, just basic stuff like that, housing, you have far less energy to put towards making the place better, treating people better, resolving issues better, coming up with solutions. You have less time for solutions when you're chasing basic stuff, when you feel like all your energy is just there to provide basic shit. Like, what's up with that? Let me see here, Ralph. That's more taxes and refunds for the country because they pay people to come here as well. I don't know, Ralph, man. Who you talking about? They pay. Who you talking about? They pay. I don't know, man. But I'm gonna tell you. I'm just telling you like it is, man. I'm just telling you flat out like it is. At the bare minimum, what's the excuse for not having paid education in the US? I mean, is the excuse that because I don't want somebody else to get it, so I don't need it either? I don't want it for myself because I don't want somebody else to get it. That's a lot of what's going on in the US, bro. And I think you touched on something there. Like, I think Americans choose what's wrong for everybody over what's right for everybody due to differences of politic, differences, party politics, race politics, um, yeah, gender politics in some places, sex politics in some places. I mean, instead of just saying, you know, on the basic things, everybody gets paid to go to school, no matter who you are. People will start. I'm not saying you, Ralph, because I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but people will start saying, yeah, but I don't want that other person to get it. So therefore, I don't want it. And but I think that's what I see happening a lot in the US, man. People not wanting good stuff because the other person that they're against wants those things too. Do you agree? It's insidious. The traffic on 95 South between 3 and 6 is crazy. Man, yo, bro, I'm not lying. I'm not bullshitting. I've seen it in the EU and I've seen it in the US, the traffic. I've seen the public transport. Keep in mind, it's called public transport. And so then ask, how well is it set up? And then that will tell you how they view the public. You can judge the politicians and the society by how well it does things for the public, the general public. That's how you can view the society in a nutshell. How well do they provide people with the citizens with this, and this? How well do they do at public service? Public schooling, public transport, anything else, local government. How well is local government organized? What about the parks? The streets. Every single thing, is part of the public, pretty much. The things that we all share in common, the things that we know are all good for all of us. That should be able to, people should be able to do that without getting really engaging in too much bitter bipartisan politics. American pay for foreign exchange students. I mean, yo, that's not necessarily true, Ralph. Look, people come here to go to school sometime, but they don't get the same exact benefits all the time as a citizen. You see what I mean? But what would the percentage be, even if they did? And would that percentage be enough to make you reject it for your own people? Like, would you reject paid education for how many African Americans? 40 million? Let me see something. Yeah, 40 million roughly, right? 47 million. Would you reject paid education for 47 million African Americans because a million foreign exchange students might get it too? Because if that's the case, I would think that's backwards. Because 47 always beats 47 million always beats 1 million. You see what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, the majority of people living in the United States of America, vast majority, are Americans. They're not foreign. You see what I mean? So yeah, exactly. You wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, I'm just trying to be honest about it. I'm not saying that and me being honest, I'm saying that I've seen that kind of politics where people reject things that are good for them because they don't want somebody else to get it. That's largely, you see a lot of Republicans doing that. like trying to deny people stuff that is like, that's really your personal choice. Now listen, you paid education, you can't force nobody to be educated, but having a system that pays people to be educated, you would be damn sure that there won't be any excuses for the people that want to be educated to get educated. You see what I mean? Um, and being the richest nation on earth and the most powerful nation on earth, you would want the average citizen being very industrious, being very capable, being very able to do stuff, to create new things, to make society better, to solve problems better for themselves and for others, right? Because if you got the most of the money and you got most of the security, then why wouldn't the worker bees be even better than other people's worker bees? Why wouldn't they be, smarter, more able, more secure, more rational, more thoughtful, more wise? You see what I mean? And to me, it seems like the United States, the two ain't really happening at the same time. Let me see here. Not that we don't have crazy everywhere in the world, though. 1960, college and public universities were tuition free up until the mid 1960s. White students were favored until an explosion of protest across the country, led by groups that included the Brown Berets and the Black Panther Party, forced the introduction of things like Black and Chicanos studies. Right. And departments. Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I heard a little about that myself. And I agree. I agree. That's the kind of politics I'm talking about. Like, if it's good for you, then why isn't it good for everybody? You know what I mean? Like, it does. To me, it doesn't make any sense, because just because people have the more opportunities doesn't mean everybody wants the same opportunities. It doesn't mean everybody wants the same exact thing, but so they shouldn't have to be forced to it. But offering it, is really where I'm at with it, or at least people will have a choice to something like paid education. Because look, just because you're paid to go to school, does it mean you're going to pass? Does it mean you're going to study harder? Does it mean you're going to you see where I'm going with this? In a sense, the United States has a false sense of education, because first of all, if you needing to have money to get an education is part of it, then you're already weeding out a lot of brains. What if the person who ain't have the money is smarter than the person who got the money? Then what? They won't be allowed to participate in the United States. You see, that's what's going on. It's like classism in the education system. It's crazy. It's nothing about being equal in it. There's nothing about it being equal for access to all. You know what I'm saying? The education system in the US is not about that. It's about how much money you have, first of all, which is classism. That's pure classism. Pure. They set it up in a system where the private institutions are affecting the public institutions. The private educational system, it's messing up the public one because there's less importance. People don't see it as just as important when it should be more important. It should be way more important. I mean, the public universities should be like the avant-garde of education in the US. You see what I mean? Because the US is the most powerful country on earth. That its own public education system should be a representation of its wealth and power. That should be like the bragging point. Like, we're not just rich, we're not just powerful, but we take education seriously, and so do our people. This is how we take it seriously. Instead, it's like running around. You listen to the politics right now. They're like trying to even avoid the conversation of education, just trying to avoid it. It's limited. It's limited to just, are we going to relieve student debt? Why the hell should students be in debt in the first place? See, that's the crazy thing about reality. Somebody else's reality ain't everybody's. In the United States of America, your reality is what Joe Biden said. Should we relieve the student debt? Because students are in debt. It's the exact opposite. You may as well be on a slave plantation. I mean, to be honest, because you're getting the education to do what? To work, to have a good job, to have a security. And yet they put you in debt for it. It's crazy. Meanwhile, your counterpart is being paid in another country to go to the school, get the same education as you. It's crazy. Hey, Pumpkin. It's classism. The moment you start talking about relieving student debt, or even the moment where you have people in debt to be educated, it's not like they're in debt to have a brand new Benz. They're not in debt because they bought a fat chain. It's not the same thing. They're in debt for wanting to be educated. There cannot be anything more ridiculous than that in itself. And that's what's happening in the United States right now. While its NATO counterparts, it's not happening like that. Nobody's worried about can they afford school. Nobody's worried about hey, I want to take a new education, or I want to, nah, man. Part, it's built into almost everything into the system. Even just your regular company that you work for is going to want you to become more educated in your field if you can. If there's a way to do that, why not? You're making the company stronger, right? You're advancing the company's goals. It's really like that. Classism is a thing where you invest in some people and you don't invest in others. This is what we're talking about, the investments in the people. So when you start talking to other folks about, politics, who you're going to vote for, and these kind of things, I want people to take up some of my talking points. Ask these questions, because the things that I'm saying are very, very real. To brush them off would make you a goddamn fool. You see what I'm saying? It would mean you were told better, but you chose less. You chose to not want to talk about it. You chose to avoid something that's very political and very patriotic. You see what I mean? Like, you should want the very best for your own people. You should want that, not the worst. When you see them as your own people, you don't say, I don't want them. You know what? I don't need this because I don't want them to have it. No, you say, nah, this is going to be good for my people. This is going to be good for all of us. This is not about me. This is about all of us. And education is one of those things. Paid education is one of those things. Some societies have it, some don't. The United States doesn't. The United States is putting its people that want to be educated into debt. The exact opposite. That makes no sense whatsoever. So while some people might want to talk about a lot of things, things that maybe they have no control over, or maybe they do, but the parties don't want to discuss them in a way to where the people can have some control or say, folks can always say, yeah, what's up with paid education? Do whatever else you want. Can you start paying people to go to school here to be educated instead of issuing debt on people or making people pay to be educated? Can we just get rid of that? Because I heard a lot of our NATO allies, they just pay their people to go to school. They just pay their people to go to university. They just pay their people to go to technical school. You know, nobody's running around the society worried about how they're going to get into school, how they're going to take that class. Nobody's worried about that. In the US, people are worried about that every day, even while being in the class. How am I going to afford the next semester? That shit is crazy. Anyway, y'all, I just wanted to say that. I appreciate Donnie. I didn't see Donnie come in on this live. He's probably, maybe his the hour caught him. What's up, Pumpkin? Yeah, good morning. That's why I wanted to get off, man. I hope folks taking it into thought, and not the crew. I know the crew is going to think about it here, but the people that come and listen to the live later, you know, think about it. Or do you want the politics in the US to be like another Groundhog Day? You know what I mean? Just another repeat of what already happened before. You see? Yeah, 30,000 for 4 years. No clothes, no shoes, struggling food to eat, graduate and stay in debt with no. Exactly, man. This shit is crazy. It's crazy. You know, it's crazy, man. And just think, just not being in that place and being somewhere else could mean the total opposite. It could mean you got paid to go to school and you're not in debt. You know what I'm saying? Who chooses where they live? Who chooses where they're born? But when you're born in the United States, that's the reality there. You have to accept, you have to either change it or accept it as it is. And I would think that the low bar would be paid education for everyone, you know, just every citizen, paid education, right? The younger people will get paid to just go to school. Even you could even take it into urban cities. You could even or into rural areas. You could even take it into, you know, high school. I mean, I'm not joking. You could even take this into high school, you know, for younger people that have a problem in their homes, or younger people that you know, maybe need more support to stay in school, right? You know, paid education might do it. Being paid to go to school might do it. You know, maybe in the rural areas, getting paid to go to school might do it. Might keep some of these people, you know, getting their ass into school out there in the country. You know what I'm saying? When you don't know what kind of job you're going to have in the future, and you don't, at least you know you get paid to find out what kind you want, you can get. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know what kind I'm going to get, but while I'm in high school, I'm going to get paid to find out which one I'm going to get later. And then when I pursue that one, I'm going to get paid too, because it's either that one or we're going to be paying for you in the prison. Because it has been proven that societies with you know, issues with education tend to have more crime. Societies where people have an issue getting access to education tend to have more crime and other things. You know, I mean, a crime is not just a crime where you throw somebody in jail and you say, now I have to pay for a criminal. But what did they destroy? What did that criminal destroy too? Did they destroy any lives, other people's lives? You know, how does that affect the society? Well, what if that person could have just been paid to go to school? You see, would they still be that same person? You know, would they still, with the same choices, with different choices, would it turn out the same way? That's what you got to ask. And for a lot of people, the answer is just no. You know, a lot of crime is committed by people that feel desperate and insecure. So let's get the security things going on. Let's make life more secure for people, for the average person, so that they can make better judgments, better goals, you know, set better goals, more reasonable goals, you know. Yeah, on that note, I'm out, y'all. Let me read some more of the comments, Ralph. They will even pimp you out if you're an athlete, sell your drug. That's what they're doing, bro. That is what they're doing for entertainment. I mean, turning something like education and entertainment, bro. It's really crazy. But that's what it is. Um, and it costs more if you go to school out of your home state. Yep. Yep. So you will be right. I mean, that's my whole point. I mean, I'm saying that flat out. And this is not. I'm not saying I'm a person that believes you need to vote and really make your vote count. But take the hard questions to these people, to the politicians. Don't just accept what the politicians want to talk about. Don't just accept their narrative, because then you're accepting their views and you're accepting their plan for you, when it should be when it possibly can be different, can be better. You could dictate the narrative. You could force a narrative on politicians, something that's positive, something that benefits everybody, something that maybe is not divisive. I mean, look, okay, for example, birth control, is has typically been divisive, but it's also not it's something that's not benefiting Republicans. You can see obviously by the trends, because you can see Republican people, going against that idea, even though in the beginning they talked about it, voted for it, then it backfired in some elections and they changed their mind. But you know, it's still a topic that causes a lot of division, right? But okay, so that's the topic. Some they want to talk about God. People want to talk about life. People want to talk, these kind of things. Murder. Okay, fair enough. Those are really rough things to talk about. So let's talk about education then. Should everybody get paid to go to school to be educated? How would that affect the society? Let's see how divisive that conversation is, and at least make people have that conversation. Initiate the conversation. You know, because I I don't think I think there's a lot of room. There should be a whole lot of poor ass white people in America that want paid education, but if they don't want it just because they don't want someone else to get it too, that needs to be exposed. And vice versa. If anybody else feels that way, that needs to be exposed, because that's like that's passive aggressive and shit. Like, I don't want this. Nah. It's like, yo, that's a waste of energy, to allow anybody this like passive aggressive, way of navigating their politics. I don't want this. I like it. Yeah, it would be good, but I don't want it because I don't want them to get it. But let's have that conversation. If there's some Americans like that, let's hear them say that. Let's hear them talk about it. Let's find out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's up, Angie? How you doing? Yeah. Where you been? Hope everything's good with you. Yeah. We talk about paid education. Do you know anybody that gets paid to go to school? I do. A whole lot of people. A whole lot of people. And they also have health care too, ironically. Don't even, it's just part of the regular system, everyday taxes. And they pay basically same taxes everybody else pay in a major city in the USA. It's crazy. New York, DC, Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? Same amount of taxes going to it, except they're just getting paid education, paid to go to university, paid money to go to technical school while they have their health care. Go figure. I mean, yeah, so we're just talking about those things, what Americans need to know coming up for this election period. Yeah, so we're just having a little political talk, and talking about how to create the narrative, control the narrative, at least have, be a part of the dialogue, and not let others control the narrative, not let others control the talking points. Because right now you got Biden and you got Trump, and the talking points are, I don't know, for me, I don't know what that to me, that's not a so progressive, the two choices, but I would choose Biden myself. But I don't think Mr. Biden's party is that goddamn progressive. I think the Democrats are a little, also just like Republicans, a little classist. Yeah, classist, because let's just call it what it is. They may not want to be, but they are, because look, at the end of the day, you live in a classist society. Have to pay to go to school. That means only people with the money can get educated. That's classism at its most cleanest. You know, without the money, you can't have access. That's classism. You see, and so I don't think the Democratic Party goes far enough with its conversation about that. Myself, but I hope they do. But better yet, the Republicans can head them off. If the Republicans want to be a progressive party, they could talk about paid education for all. They could talk about classism. They could talk about how the Democrats don't want paid education for everybody. If they want to. Not too sure if they will, but we should give them the opportunity, the chance to, right? Um, yeah, but I would say that's the cleanest way, the clearest way to find out who's a classist and who's not, by finding out who's for paid education for all Americans and who's not for it, regardless of what party you have, because I think if you look through all the parties, you're going to find some rich and some poor. And so there is the classism in it. So there should be people that acknowledge and recognize classism in both parties. Maybe the politicians aren't speaking to them well to kind of heighten the debate, or to maybe they're trying to suppress that kind of conversation, talking about classism and stuff within the system, regarding rich and poor. But they seem to be more finger pointing at the other group rather than talking about it existing within their own group. And classism exists in all American groups. It's just that's what the capitalism has created. And when you have, it's just that simple. They've accepted a version of classism, where you do things based on how much money you have, how your access is based on how much money you have. And people are forced to compete with that every day. And that changes the value system, because even myself as an American, I don't want to. I would like to think that you get what you work for. I would like to think that's the case, right? But it's not the case. It's not. It's not really. You don't get that. The world has never been that way. In the world, there's always been some powerful people that inherited some power, and a lot of the things they inherited power from are from things that were illegal, slavery, classism themselves. Like, really, you know what I'm saying? Like, in short, then there was people that got, even in the 60s. I'm not even talking about old American history or old global history. Just, it's always been that way. The people with the power are not necessarily the just people all the time. They don't necessarily get rich because they were just and fair, or even good at what they do. Sometimes they were just oppressive in how they do things, and are good at getting other people to do shit for them. You see what I mean? So there's got to be a sense of fairness in everything we do, and we always got to question classism ourselves and in our own system. We always have to question it when we're dealing with power dynamics. And the Democratic Party has their rich people. The Republican Party has their rich people. The Democratic Party has their poor people, and the Republican Party has their poor people. And they need to be made to communicate about that classism, on both sides. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Y'all having a good old time in the chat, I see. Well, but I gotta go, y'all. It was just a short one. I mean, hold on. Let me drop the link before I be out here. Let me see. My fault here. I'm gonna drop the link here. Anybody want to pop up? Y'all can come up, please. Let me know what you think about the topic and your views on it. And you know, uh, and it would be good to hear. I like to see even some opposing views. Is also okay. Or even questions. That's also good to kind of probe the conversation a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's early in the U.S. Most of y'all in the U.S. right now. So except Jade. Yeah, Jade is in the EU. Okay, no, is in Europe, not the EU though. He's in the UK. So yeah, so he's on afternoon time. Yeah, but anybody can hop up if you want. Let me see. The latest news, has been like what is this? Oh yeah, Angie, you gotta catch the replay. All good, all good. Um, yeah, once again, I guess the latest news is the Iranian president is dead, and the lead nuclear negotiator for the U.S. and a few other cabinet members. Um, yeah, helicopter down and in the mountains in Iran, and then there's well, I don't know how new this is. Puff Daddy is, you know, yeah, really taking a shellacking. He apologized for beating up somebody on videotape, Casey, but he, yeah, if you believe that, to me it looked like a psycho talking, trying to get people to be sympathetic towards him. You know what I'm saying? But yo, Ralph, what's up?
Morning, morning.
You good? Yeah, good
I'm
morning. Good
good.
morning, brother.
Yeah. I watched the thing you put up yesterday about the Africans. The lady said she will come back to America.
Oh yeah, you saw that on the
Yeah,
community timeline. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. That's the real
um,
talk too, though. It's the
yeah.
same real talk, right?
So, right. So if we go there and or we go to a place where they give like free education, or we have the education and build up other countries, and they're treating us like this. What do we I guess what I'm trying to say is if they're coming to America and they're getting scholarships and somewhat of free education, we come there, but we have to build up their economy,
Right,
and then other economies give out free education, and they come to
right.
America and take over. What
Yo,
does that
bro.
say for the American citizen?
Yo,
Because we'll
Ralph.
get treated like
Thank you.
outsiders through every situation.
Thank you, Ralph. Yo, that is an excellent point. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, we're not getting well, here's the thing. When you bring up Ghana, then that we talking about diaspora African Americans, right? Or Black Americans, right? In that way. Because that would matter to us. It wouldn't matter to
Yes.
everybody, every American, but it matters to us. But in that special case, yes, we are also in that situation where we're being asked to build up somebody else's economy when we were the victims. We were the victims of someone else building up their economy, right? So we were traded. Our ancestors were traded and sold and bartered on the stock market. You see what I mean? For
it's,
somebody
it's
else
like it's like a
to have a
chain
better
slave
life.
effect. It's like a chain slave effect, right? So like when
Right,
you go to college here to put yourself in debt. Say if you are the apex Negro or the alpha Negro, where you can jump high like Jordan, you can shoot like you're a army general. Um,
right.
Man, you just have talent. Now you get pimped out to your community, and you get pimped out as entertainment, pimped out from the college, pimped out from the
And
women
Ralph,
in school, and
and
then you
Ralph,
also have to go overseas with the same talent. Go ahead.
and you know something? And the only thing I could say to my Black American brothers and sisters, right? Um, African American, whatever, the only thing I could say to that is that guess what? At least you're not the only ones being pimped right now because white Americans are, in terms of this, are so goddamn dumb. Like they literally are saying they don't want to be paid to go to school because somebody else is going to get it. So welcome to the club, white Americans. You know what I'm saying? Like, because think about this, Ralph. Because I'm American, but I don't live in America. And if I want to get paid to go to school, I'm getting paid to go to school because everybody decided over here we're gonna pay people to go to school. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what's my dissent? You see what I'm saying? So people really gotta that's why I call it the bare minimum. Because it would be good for white Americans and it's good for African Americans because look at our situation. Even if we wanted to leave America and go back to Africa, shit, man, we're being asked to pay fees. We're being asked to pay our way through. When asked to pay our way through, we should be given passport immediately. We shouldn't even be paying taxes.
We shouldn't have to.
How
We shouldn't
should
have to do
we?
anything but get on the plane or the boat.
We should be given land. We should be given land because that's what our ancestors were sold. Their land was stolen. Somebody else got our ancestors' land. So, but it's not a point of argument. I'm not trying to argue with anybody about it. It's just a cold fact. It's just a cold fact. And that lady brought that out in that video, and people need to see that. Just like white Americans need to be told, congratulations, you've joined the slave club too. You're slaves.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, they joined it so good. We don't know when it's Black American history or American history now. And by me saying that, I'm saying, look at the food what we eat.
Black American history is American history.
It's American history, but it didn't start in America. Like, if I wanted to go to the store now and buy oxtails, they sold out. Like, and you like, Ralph, what does this come? What are you saying by this? That was last year when I was buying oxtails before it became popular. White people would say, "Yo, what is that you eating? I've never seen that type of stuff before." Now they put it as a universal thing. Everybody got oxtails, so it's still in the origin of what type of people eat these things, right? Not saying one particular food belongs to a particular people, but it's a cultural set of food that cultural people eat. So now it's like you go into the store and you can't even buy your own cultural things because it's so diverse now universally. So you it's like wiping out your kind of your history. So when you look at it, you say, well, they're in the same party. Yeah, they're in the same party, but they're gonna have enough to take over things that we like, and then nobody's gonna know who it belongs to. If you get what I'm saying. I think you're on mute, BB. Well, and then it's like,
yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay. So when you see people who like, oh, look, let's go to college, right? I went to New Jersey City University, NJCU. I went there for health, and I also took a couple other classes, a couple courses. You know what I'm saying? Conspiracy theories and history, jazz history, and it was something else. But the fact of the matter is, I seen more white people in our African American jazz history studies. I seen more people when it came to like Europeans, when it came to like just dealing with the things that that you will see in black that black people will want to, or Negroes that will want to enhance themselves in. And it's like, dang, they so into what we into. We have to call it American history because it's going to erase Black history because they're going to be so prominent in it. They're going to be so dominant in it because they can afford to pay for what we can't because they're still steps ahead of us.
Right. Yeah, it's facts, man. That's the thing. And but they're not winning that race, brother, because see, that's what I mean. They have done something where they've thought about the wrong problem. For them, they focusing on competing against African Americans. That's their problem. They're focusing on competing against, whatever anybody else they want to add to that list, right? Outside of African Americans. Traditionally, historically, it's been competing against African Americans. Well, They built that system up of classism to protect themselves in America. But globally, because they chose that model, globally, they're losing too. Because the European has not chose that model. The European has said, you know what? We want to survive. We want everybody being educated. And so now you got a generation of white people that are not educated because they've been affected by those same laws too. You see what I mean? It's like it's not working for all white people.
It's not working for all white people, like we do know when it comes to white folks, right? So like I guess I'm gonna pull this thing from like I'm gonna pull my old street card. When you in the when you dealing with poor white folks, their benefits from the government is better than the ones from black, such as food stamps. I know that the average household with 2 kids, $100 per kid, maybe $100 for yourself. You might end up with somewhere roughly between, if it's a single parent home, somewhere between $300 to $400 worth of food stamps, right? But you can have the same situation with white folks, and they'll get up to $400 to $600 in food stamps. But let's talk about health care. They're getting them some type of out like they're getting them better proper like they would get better medications, they'll get better hospital facilities, they'll get better mental and mental, like, you know what I'm saying, for like the kids like who are mental disabilities, they get better treatment
Right.
for that.
Right.
As far as they're on the welfare and you know what I'm saying, they'll get put into better types of homes or better environments and things like that, while we're just thrown into like a situationship. So it's like,
Right.
even though they're even at the bottom of the line, like they'll go to their doctor, they'll prescribe a black person who just got shot, even though they shouldn't be getting it, some off-brand Percocets, but then go get the whites the full product, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
So
and there's so many other more examples too, bro. There's
yeah,
many more. I hear you loud and clear. I mean, but that's they use that to compete against African Americans. Those
hmm
kind of biases, you know. But the problem is that on the standard is still low. So they created a model that worked in the United States, but the problem is that that model is not the Western model anymore. You know, now they actually really do have countries that just pay everybody to go to school, right? Now, why is it that one person can live in the Western world, be paid to go to school, not have to think about healthcare at all because they have it automatically, right? And at the same time, if a war kicks off, I mean, who's going to be, you know, what are the benefits going to be for the soldiers, for example, if a war kicks off? Well, do you think the benefits of the American soldier are the best in NATO that NATO got to offer? Nope, it's not. So you see what I mean? Like at all ends of the stick now, it's become a capitalistic game. It's not even, I mean, it is race, it is classism, it is capitalism that are connected. They are connected. But the focus now is just like it is really almost capitalistic, you know. Um, it's burying even poor white people. You see what I'm saying? It's burying a lot of people, and even to the, you know, point of if you go to a war, okay, how many white Americans are in the military? How many of them fought in Afghanistan, fought in Iraq, or any other place in the world, right? And what did their lives turn out to be? What are their rights after being a soldier? What benefits do they get versus another NATO nation? You see, and when you even look at some of these NATO nations, man, shit, the one I'm in, man, to be honest with you, I don't even think I think they were only in Afghanistan and in Iraq on humanitarian. They were there, the military was there, they were with other NATO nations, but they only did humanitarian missions.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? That's not a fighting mission.
Yeah,
That means you're there giving out some water and food to the locals and shit
but
like that.
their line is still on the line though.
Their lives are on the line, though.
Still on the
Their
line.
lives are on the line. But what do you think their benefits are too while they're doing it? You think they're better
They
than that?
they probably have amazing benefits to dropping off food,
That's what I'm
water,
saying.
ammunition, and things like that.
That's what I'm saying. The soldiers are even being treated better, bro.
Wow.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. It's
that's crazy. Not like when you really now when I really see it as a process, being an American soldier trying to fight an Afghani war or some type of crisis war, then we really shouldn't have no reason to be fighting and getting treated the worst, while the same party of American citizenships are over there getting twice as much for twice as less. Damn.
bro. Check this
Mm.
out. Sorry, I'm just making my latte, right? But check this out, Ralph. This is the crazy thing. And imagine again, what do you think that soldier thinks about American soldiers or the American military?
Like you gotta look
If
at him like you stupid. You do this for your for your military. This is what you do. Like
they're very happy. They're very happy to have they respect Americans in a lot of ways. They respect the fact that we are willing to fight. They respect the fact that there's some positive traits, of course. I'm not I'm discussing this paid education. Doesn't mean I'm just dissing everything that is about the US. I'm not, right? But when it comes to these certain things, a lot of nations, they see the United States as a benefit to them, you know, especially the military, because the US has the biggest Western military force. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
But we bear a big part of the brunt of these conflicts. And what do our vets get? I mean, can you imagine the United States had the politicians have the nerve to actually have veterans out on the fucking street?
Well, yeah, in America, because homeless people, man, it's crazy for me to say this because if you know that they're homeless and they're veterans and they put their life on the line, that's like saying if we can do that to a vet, that's what imagine we can do to the population that we really don't need to have making any money. That's how I look at it. Like you guys are always gonna be poor. So what they served this country, he wasn't really that much of a serve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You did your part. Now get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
did this part. Now stop bothering us. Stop asking for help. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
you got free food for 4 years or plus. You got free housing for 4 years plus. You got these things. You shouldn't even be in this situation. Stay homeless.
Let me check this out. I'm gonna look at some of the soldier benefits over here, right? And then see how that matches up to
I could imagine being shot for this country and somebody telling me, "Hey, look, my medical bills got high because of what happened to me overseas, going to war, and now my insurance is different, my health care is different, my body is different because of a bullet wound, and you won't take care of it."
I even think they got some benefit. I don't even know if you pay rent when you join. You get your salary, it's tax free, and I don't even think you pay rent on the place where you live. It has some real good benefits over here, but let me just see how. I need to get some concise information where people can read as much as they want about it. Okay, security, therefore, is a duty. Okay, Danish, right? Okay, damn. Oh, accept the cookies, right? It says here that in Denmark, a veteran is defined as a person who has been deployed to at least one international operations zone. Okay. Okay, let me see here. It's not. Let me get to the the nuts and bolts though. 60. Okay, they just Like I see how much they get paid. I think they get paid something like 12. Actually, it's not right, man. I'm sorry. I gotta make. I don't want to say anything wrong over the internet right now. I need to have the exact info um, for people, but they're not having these issues in the same way. You know, obviously, healthcare is not an issue, right? Because everybody has healthcare over here, right? Um, so the vets aren't worried about the healthcare, but also I believe that they don't, when you're joining or when you're serving, you don't, part of what's taken care of is your own home too. You don't lose your home because you went on deployment. You see what I mean? uh or whatever place apartment you rent. I think there's limitations, but I don't know how far it goes. Like I believe it's just for your apartment or wherever you live on the regular. And then you don't pay taxes on your salary, right? But I don't want to say the exact number or any more outside of that because I want to make sure later when I talk about this I can have some real concise information for people. But just the fact that the healthcare is out of the way, and just the fact that everybody gets paid to go to school here, that kind of eliminates a few of the issues in the U.S. Right? I mean, if you serve in the U.S., you get a grant for education, right?
Right.
But you get the grant for education if you serve in the U.S. But everybody here gets paid to go to school, so nobody here needs a grant to serve.
Right. Like even
No
though
one's
you
here.
get a grant, you still pay within school. You know what I'm saying? In the military in America.
Exactly, man.
Y'all
What
just
kind of
y'all getting
bullshit
it
is
for
that?
free. Full free.
You see what I'm saying? That's crazy. So when it comes to classism, whose life matters? Whose life matters? You know, and as a matter of fact, shit, that might even be a good slogan for Americans. You know, do Americans' lives matter? Because I would have to say no. That sounds so harsh, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying this to be mean or cruel or to just let out some sort of weird, twisted political view. No, I'm just saying if I had to ask that simple question, I would have to say no, because what do you get for being American?
Come on over, come on, cross over to the Ralphie side. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm saying it all the time. It doesn't matter. Only thing that it can do is make you feel more American. But do you matter? No. You are just a paycheck. You are a
I mean,
tax paycheck.
that's what it's seeming like to me, bro. I mean,
That's what the social security number is for. That's what the birth certificate is for. That's your birth certificate is saying that this is who you are, and your social is saying this is the receipt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is what you must pay on yourself for being here.
Yeah, where's the clemency?
Do you matter? No. You only matter. You only matter when you control other people. If you don't control no one else or someone else, you don't matter.
Facts, yo. Facts. Do y'all like the new image here? It's a person smoking a cigar, burning up, lighting the cigar with people.
Is that Kendrick
Each person
Lamar
is
burning up Drake? It look like Kendrick Lamar smoking Drake pack.
it might end up like that. They ain't like us. Yo, anyway, Kendrick is killing him right now, man. I really like Kendrick's got to be my favorite rapper, my favorite one right now of all. I'm talking about of all, just because I'm in the moment. I don't mind being in the new school with the new stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? He's a good poet. He's a good poet, man. Excellent poet. He's doing the real thing. But in any case, so Ralph, I gotta break it down right now, brother. I got to tend to a few other things. But is there anything you wanted to bring up real quick before I, close out? Anybody else too? Let me just drop the link one more time just to make sure I don't miss anybody trying to hop up or anything like that.
Nah, man, I just didn't want to leave you up here hanging, you know what I'm saying? And
I
I'm always
appreciate
just
it.
give it a little quick 15, 20 minutes, no matter what it is, just to, converse with you or whatever.
Right.
If I
It's
wanted to,
been
if
great.
anything I got to tell the people, especially the listeners of our channel,
Hmm.
be open minded, but be open minded enough to know when to be closed minded.
Mm.
Some things are straight in your face, and some things will make you feel like it's relatable, but it has nothing related to you in it. Just think about what you're doing before you do it. Some of us are here to terrorize, some of us are here to build. I'm
Mm.
in here to do both.
Mm. I hear you, bro. Yeah, if need be, right? It's like if need be. I mean, they're one and the same in a sense, building and terrorizing. One person's builder is another person's terrorist. Yeah, but
Mhm.
but I feel you, man, and I appreciate you hopping up, Ralph. As always, and I want to. I mean, this is a long election year, so I'm going to be talking about more things like this up into the election. I want to have more. When you see this debate, Trump and Biden, join us here to see it here, everybody, because we definitely going to be giving a reaction. We're going to be giving a reaction. This is like you're going to have like Puff Daddy. Got to do a reaction to him. You got to do a reaction of Kendrick and Drake, and then we got to do a reaction of Biden and Trump.
Yeah. Hey, look, my boy Charleston White, I was looking at him on the gram last night. Charleston White was like, "Man, I don't give a damn about no Cassie and Diddy. Did she get paid for getting beat up like that and some more things? Like she is rich now. She don't ever got to get. No one ever has to hit her again.
Yeah, her
She can
health care
move away
taken
from
care of.
everybody,
Yep, her
and
her school debt is paid. But
everything.
I hear you
You,
though. But
that
it's
kick
a
in the
good.
butt. Did you see the kick in the butt when she grabbed her butt? Right. She
That
was
was a
like,
$30 million
"Oh,
kick.
yeah, that's right." They kicked right up the ass, and she grabbed her butt like, "Oh," and he drug her off. She was like, "Well, back into the cave I go."
But it's important to leave room for the truth. And I think there is some truth in what you're saying. Like, of course, at the same time, there's women. It's not just about Casey. There's women that deal with these kind of problems every day, right? Abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse. You know what I'm saying? But and I think that's fair enough for women to be concerned. But I mean, my view of it is generally this is bigger than Me Too. This is a everybody moment because he got Meek Mill in the pool like damn my ass. It's like
Oh, it's
I mean,
crazy.
you know what I'm saying? He done punched Drake up. I think this is beyond just where I think this is capitalism, bro. I think
Yep.
that's what we're seeing. I
Yeah,
don't think
you
this.
got
Yeah,
enough money. You got enough money to buy your way or support or control enough people. You can get away from almost
and
anything. And I've been
yes,
saying that in your channel for the longest time. And I know Miss Andrea said to me one time, she was like, "Ralph, but that's not the point." I'm like, "Yo, that is the point. Because if I had millions and millions of dollars and I didn't like you, there's nothing a judge or a politician that I wasn't cool with would condemn me for getting you killed. It was nobody. I paid it. I lived next door to them. I met their kids' functions. I met their kids' school. We're partying together.
mhm,
We sat and helped make laws for our communities together. Who's going to
mhm.
condemn that person?
And you know something. And the thing is that it's women that sat by and knew that too. And as you
Well,
saw it happening and still sat by, one of his assistant, main personal assistants, is a woman, right? Um, and Puffy. So it's like, you know, I think it's beyond gender. I look at it as more leaning more on the class, on the capitalistic side of things, right, and class side of things. In America, it's a view. It's a good look at America. Actually, looking at Puffy, I have to say that, and looking at how all these things existed. The United States government, every person in it, rich, wealthy, politician, affluent, needs to understand that what Puffy showed you was a look at America and all of it. when Lil Rod didn't get his paycheck, he got scammed. There ain't no union, nobody coming to help him, right? When all those things that went on, that's America, brother. That's what they're looking at. And I think nobody should let that escape them. You know, like it's not just Puffy, it's more people. But there's women also involved in it and watching it take place. Cassie herself, as you pointed out, I'm not trying to, I believe she's a victim, you know, but let's just be honest. It's been reports out there that suggest that she knew of other abuses, maybe witnessed other abuses of other people, and sat by and said, hey.
Or orchestrated other abuses for other people.
So we have to keep in mind that, you know, that's how this thing works. You know, it's not such a black and white thing anymore. There's some gray areas that got to have some attention to and accountability for, also acknowledgement at the very least of, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I mean, all these things I see wrapping together, brother. Look, if you could go to school, I know people that said, fuck school. School is too much. I'm going to be a rapper. You know, I can achieve that. You know what I'm saying? That's so crazy. That is so crazy.
Yo, but it works though, yo. Like,
F school.
I ain't gonna touch you. You get a better buzz. You get a better buzz off rapping than going to school. You go to school, you just setting yourself back 30,000. Where I could just get in the booth in my own home and sell mixtapes and sell songs out there. My friends are like $5 to $10. You know what I'm saying? And that way, you know what I'm saying, by the time the year up, if I saved every mixtape, if I done sold damn near 1,000 mixtapes, you know what I'm saying, 2,000 mixtapes, I got enough to pay for 1 year of college.
Yep. And on top of it, they're gonna, when you leave that school, they're gonna have a whole building named after you. That's the crazy part about it. That's insane.
So, you can't even leave the college you go to because they'll take credits from you. You're gonna lose credits if you jump to another school.
And they're your credits. You done paid for them.
That you earned, you paid for, and then say that the school loses that school, that class that you were taking, and now you have to go to a different school because of force.
You know
to
what?
Go through your trade. Now when you lose those. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry, Ralph. Sorry, man. You just making me. They should call
you being robbed. You being robbed.
No, you being enslaved. Look, bro, that's what they should call school, slavery.
It is prison. I call it
like
prison.
Jail prison, you know? It's like, shit, you trying to get me in debt to you, so I have to sharecrop for you for how many years after? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I know when I graduated from Everest, I was EKG and mammogram technician. I was trying to be a plastic surgeon. I was started going to school up north at NJC.
Did you have to pay for it? Did you pay it off?
Yeah. Well, I got in. I had good grades, so I kind of had some type of scholarship where I had to pay like half of what I went to school for.
Okay.
So, but even doing that, on the price of living when I came to New Jersey and the things what I was going through, I couldn't afford it fully. So I only got a chance to do one semester. And I couldn't get the job that was already certified in as far as EKG, mammogram tech, phlebotomist, just the normal things that, you know, you should be able to, if you have a CMA, certified medical assistant, a certification. But when I got into NJCU, I had maybe 150 something credits. As soon as I got in, they took almost 30 something credits from me.
Oh, really?
Set back at 30 something credits. So I was like, what? I got to start all over. And that's when I couldn't believe, you know what I'm saying, yo, college is a ripoff to me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, I'm not doing this, yo. I make more money selling weed on the block. I can't do this.
Yeah, I think that's what I meant, brother, about creating crime.
Yeah, because you said, what did you say? A person would rather choose being a rapper. I'd rather choose selling weed.
You know? I mean, but it's the same type of thing because, and I'm not dissing it. I'm just saying, in terms of the structure, they have made people make choices like that. People have had to make these kind of choices, and so these are systemic things. These are systemic barriers that guide or lead the society, construct the society. In other words, make people do shit. People have to adjust, adapt. It's all about the options, what your options are. So, we're creating it in a sense through our system, through our view of things. It's literally being constructed. Um, the prison, it's literally constructed. It's a choice. It's like we we'd rather pay to have people behind bars. And these people even get access to education behind bars that they couldn't even get in the free society. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy?
I think they took most of that away, the prison education. I think they
tried
took a
to,
lot
yeah,
of
they
that
take
away.
it.
Yeah. But they're giving them like non-justified trades, like a trade you'll get, but you won't really make no money. But the ones where they could, far
Right,
such as
box
like,
carrier.
yeah,
You know?
like the trades they could have got, such as like lawyers, they could have came out, got anything such as like some type of health career or transit career or just anything that has the long side of build an economy. They could have did that. Now you can't. Now it's like, okay, you just get the bare minimum of, okay, you get to jump into a warehouse position or something of something small, but it's the fact that you still on the same pay level as someone who just went 4 years in school,
Mm-hmm.
and they got it for the bare minimum of just going to prison.
Right.
That sucks, man. That sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. It's kind of twisted. It's a twisted way of doing things, Yeah, man. I really hope. I want to send all Americans, just like a little bit of like positivity and hope. Hope for the future, hope that things can be better. I'm gonna tell you flat out, because my opinion is that if there's any place where things definitely can be a lot better for the average person and it's feasible, it's the United States of America. It has what it takes. It's just not implementing the tools, due to political issues, socio-political issues or differences. I guess that's a better way to say it. Socio-political differences, because I don't want to add to the division so much, but it seems like that's the case. Anything that Americans want to do, they can do, of all people on earth, because they have the economic wealth and they have the natural resources and they have the political, military momentum. They have everything that you would want to be able to make something better, fix a problem, solve an issue, make somebody's life better. That, let alone having the power to do it for your own citizens, because then you can. It's not like there's another government or some other rule that's hindering your ability to just help your own citizens. Nah, these are your citizens. You got clean access to them, direct access
I
to
think
them.
that's the reason. I think that's the reason why I think the male suicide rate in America is so high, because no matter what the aspect is of, you're limited to being taken care of respectfully and responsibly compared to the women in America, where if you are a woman in America that's struggling, you have parties that'll help you in an abundance of ways, as far as because of the government. Whereas if you're a guy, you're not, even if you sort of have a military background or a great career set, or even just you had everything going for you and it was stripped from you, as far as a divorce, a marriage, the economy, down to your taxes, it'll cause you to put in all those efforts, all the efforts that you put into your life, your career, to look back on it, it will cause you to be depressed and want to commit suicide.
It can. The pressures of life.
Yeah, that is a lot of pressure on someone who has to pay their way through something and be stripped of it. And not only when being stripped of it, finding out who you still are as a person while being stripped of it is slavery. Only thing
Hmm.
that's not missing is someone's not forcing you to speak another language.
Yeah, exactly. True, man. I mean, I feel this pretty much the same, bro. And I guess you could say that experience for some can be very alienating, you know? So yeah, man, it's sad. I agree though, man. I think a lot of issues regarding men and stress and mental illness, you know, due to the expectations in the society, you know, I think is something that doesn't often get discussed, and it is also in terms of gender, like a hot pool because there's there's a idea out there that because men run a certain amount of stuff, you know, or control the majority of things, that somehow it's a man constructed problem, you know, by males. Meaning, when I say man, I mean males, right? And you know, and then there's, you know, for me, I don't think it's that simple. I think males and females, men and women, contribute to all the problems together. You know, it may vary depending on what you're talking about, but they just all problematic. Human beings are problematic in general, male and female. They're just stuck together that way, you know. But it's I'm not blaming though. At the same time, I don't do the blame thing. Like, I don't like to say that it's women who do this, or this, or just the same way I don't like to hear people say it's men, only that. Now, I do understand that there's power dynamics with gender, and I agree with that. But I mean, it shouldn't be the only thing that's going on. Gender should not be the only power dynamic that can be discussed, you see, or acknowledged, you know. And I don't think any individual in their right mind could think that there's only one space, one thing that can topple all the other bads. I believe no, there's multiple bads, and it just depends on who you are and where you are for that bad to raise up to a certain level to where it becomes the number one problem for all things. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
unilateral, you know. Even just how we look at societies in general, they're not just copy paste societies, you know. Um, yeah, there's different types of societies. People in the societies, you know, do things differently according to how they see it. It's just, to some degree, it's not all the same thing, you know. So we got to leave space for other things to be problems too, you know. Um, yeah, but we'll see how that goes. Yo, Ralph, I appreciate you hopping up, brother, as always. And you know what? I know I got to send you some stuff. You waiting for, so I'm on it. I'm still on it. Don't worry, I'm
So
almost done.
cool. And look, I wasn't gonna pressure you. Take your time. I know it'll get there when it get there.
It's coming. It's coming. It's not that I haven't been thinking about it. You know, I've been just, I guess you could say, I've been going through
Man, look,
different
man,
things
you on
one at a time.
here, you work, you got kids, you got
Mm.
other people sending you stuff. Yo, I'm not
Exactly.
gonna pre- I'm not
I'm just
I'm
trying
not
to get
pressing
through
you. I'm not pressing
the
you,
list.
man. I understand. You
It's
know,
crazy sometimes, man. It's crazy, but yeah, I'm glad you understand, Ralph. That's why we cool like
the
that.
studying, the cool, like I'm saying, yeah,
Solid.
man, your job, all of that, man, with the work, the study. I'm not sweating none of it. When it gets here, it get here, and I'll be right there waiting for it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Damn, brother. Sometimes I forget to slap myself on the back a little bit, but you did it for me that moment. I
Uh-huh.
appreciate that, Ralph.
I'm gonna give you your credit.
All right. There you go. Y'all heard what Ralph said. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna get back to everybody. I'm gonna get back to you privately though, obviously, Ralph, over and we talk. But I appreciate everybody who came out today, everybody that's gonna listen to it after, and leave your views in the comment section if you didn't catch the live. Let me know what you think. Let me know where you from, and let me know what your main concerns are about being American, number one, you know, or about even the U.S. Right? Let your views be known, and I'm gonna get up with everybody soon. Yo, peace, Ralph. We out, bro.
Peace.
Yes.
You know what?